What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Fantasy Football Game Show presented by Front Yard Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my phenomenal co-hosts, Josh and John Luke. What's up, boys?
What up?
We are pretty phenomenal, aren't we?
Yeah, you guys are pretty good. Guys, also joining us today is the hairier half of the Wright brothers duo, another member of the Front Yard fam. We've got Tim Wright with us today. What's up, Tim?
I got this can because I got distracted at how pretty it is, but the beer is fine, so I'm okay.
I'm going to be honest, like cans attract me to beers. Like I'll buy a beer and taste it just because of it looks cool. It looks like Jorge is with me over there.
85%
in my fridge.
I once bought a beer because it had a bunny and a chainsaw.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, how do you not buy that?
And it was
beer?
good.
I feel like 85% of the time I don't like the beer either. Like I bought the can looks great. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be good. And I'm like, oh god.
I saw a tweet this weekend or this past week that was like, IPAs have no right making their cans this fun because they do not taste this fun.
That's exactly what it is.
Like you're gonna do this and then have it be the bitterest thing you've ever tasted in your entire life.
Sours, they can do whatever they want.
Oh yeah,
we've never done a best beer bracket. Actually, now I'm thinking about that. Is something maybe just like beer type.
We did liquor.
We did liquor. Yeah. We got this coming up, guys. Now we know one of our next brackets.
IPA,
guys, also also joining us today is a great friend of the show, very special guest, and we are so happy to have him on for brackets today. We've got Jorge Martin on. For those of you that do not know Jorge, you can find him on Twitter at Jorge Martin17. Right there below his wildly handsome face. He is the founder of Familia FFB, which is a proud member of the Fantasy Points media family. And Jorge, we are so glad to have you on the show with us today, my man.
Yes, amigos, thank you so much. I got to tell you, actually, I've very pleasantly and just excited to be here. Number one, thank you. But also just, I got to tell you, so much of the Front Yard Fantasy audience has gravitated so I'm really glad I'm never on with at the same time as you guys. I mean, Dame Overboard is always on, Mr. Scampers, Albert.
Is the best.
It's just, I tell you, the Front Yard audience, you guys are, te los quiero con mucho. Thank you.
Yeah,
we love them so much. They are the absolute best. Make it exciting every single day. And speaking of them, we've got some of them hanging out in the chat right now, ready for today's brackets. They're here. This is so embarrassing. You guys are. We got Craig in here. Said, I'm glad your second bracket today is best TV dad and not best internet dad because we all know Daddy FanDuel would win.
Of course.
Oh yeah, Daddy FanDuel's got some sauce. That would be a saucy bracket that they'd come out on top on. But it would be
Craig,
close.
you'd be up there too. I mean, you'd be top tier. I mean, if we're voting, you're gonna get most of my votes, Craig.
Yes, I would put many votes on Craig. Father,
the dad, just because the dad jokes, you know what I'm saying? Like,
you're right. The dad jokes elevates him absolutely. Scott Fish in here says, guys, I'm really busy this time of year. I'm tired of fixing brackets. Can you get this one perfect today? Absolutely not. No way.
Never committing to that.
Are you going to be happy?
What's got Scott so busy?
I have no idea.
I have no idea.
He didn't go to Detroit, so what really could he be doing?
I have no idea. Scott, we got another Scott in the chat. And Scott, that can't do it alone. We all know that. Absolutely. And what's up? Welcome in. Glad you are here. Peaked says somehow Bacon is about to win best TV dad's bracket. Yeah, absolutely.
If I could vote for that, I mean,
Bacon wins every bracket.
Dustin, welcome in. Glad to have you in here. And Alex said, does Uncle Phil count? Well, we will find out if Uncle Phil counts.
We'll see. Is he a dad? Is he a dad, Alex?
We got all sorts of recommendations in here as well. Albert, welcome in. What's up? Glad to have you in here. Mr. Scampers, our favorite chat cat, is in the chat ready to go. Said marketing indeed. Jason, mi amigo, Jorge Salud from Jay in the chat. You're gonna have a fan crew in the chat today, Jorge.
And you deserve it.
And Dame knows what beer you're talking about. Said paperback, bunny with a chainsaw, such a good beer.
I got a couple in my fridge.
That's awesome.
Such a good beer.
Oh my God, that's incredible. Maria,
I may break one out and post it on Twitter.
That's perfect. That's so funny that you said just a random beer, and Dame's like, I love that beer. Scott Fish said Jorge rocks. Absolutely. And Jay,
that's Scott.
FYF Chad's greater than everyone.
Absolutely.
Maria, hello. Glad to have you in here. Man, look, the love just keeps on coming. Jorge, you're the man. Absolutely. Wow. Guys, like I mentioned, we've got 2 brackets to go through today, so we're going to get into those just in a moment. Before we do that, a couple reminders. Number 1, if you are not already following our guest, Jorge, go and fix that right this instant. He's on Twitter at JorgeMartin17. He is truly, and I have no problem speaking for everybody in this group because I know they feel this way, one of our favorites in this space. He's unbelievably kind on top of creating great content and being a great analyst. So make sure you guys go follow him on Twitter. Then after you do that, if you want to support some slightly less kind people, our YouTube is Front Yard Fantasy. You can subscribe by clicking that button right underneath the video that you're probably already watching. And then make sure you like this video as well. It's the easiest way to show your support for what we're doing over here. And without further ado,
we're still kind. It's
it's not on
Jorge's guy. I adore you guys.
We can't compete with Jorge. That's the only problem. So
exactly,
less kind for sure.
Exactly. Guys, today our first bracket that we are doing is late round running backs. This is going to be your favorite late round running back. And JL, before we define favorite, I started thinking about this before the show. You're always asking, how are we defining this? What are we going to do? Like, what's the criteria? I was thinking, when you're drafting late round running backs, there's different things that may make you do it. You waited a long time on your RB2, you need some safety. So maybe it's a guy that you're confident is going to get some touches, or you've got your studs and you're just shooting for upside at the end. Yeah. So I think both of those are reasonable. So just kind of explain why you like them in these later rounds. And I think that's going to be okay because we might have a safety versus upside matchup, and you're going to have to decide which matters more to you in that situation. We'll go from there. So all of these running backs, guys, are 8th round or later according to Sleeper PPR ADP. So we had a couple guys right near that line that almost made it in that 7th round, but these are all 8th round or later in a 12-team PPR league Sleeper ADP. You guys ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's do this. Oh, yeah. And we've got 5 people on today, so we'll put some polls in the chat, but there should be a winner after every single round. And we are going to go one by one through these matchups, taking turns voting on our favorite running back. So our very first matchup we have is Cordarrelle Patterson versus Ronald Jones. Jorge, you have our first vote. Which of these guys is your preferred late round running back?
Oh, I'm taking CP. Just the pass catching I grabbed him a couple times last year and he saved a couple of teams. And one of them was my Scott Fishbowl team. So Scott, hello. And Ronald Jones, he's just not a threat in the passing game. So I can't vote for him.
One vote for Cordarrelle Patterson. Josh, where are you going here? Is it going to be Patterson or Ronald Jones?
I mean, Jorge kind of summed it up for me as well when it comes down to it. Like, I don't think Ronald Jones offers you really necessarily that safety. He does offer you the upside because if something happened to Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he's going to be pretty darn good probably. But I think an injury needs to happen to Clyde Edwards-Helaire for Ronald Jones to be really good because Clyde's a better pass catcher. Like Jorge said, I don't think Ronald Jones is ever going to thrive in that department. So he's going to have to get the majority of carries to be successful. Cordarrelle Patterson, he looks like the most talented running back. And in a lot of leagues, you can play him at wide receiver as well. So I love that, flexibility with Cordarrelle Patterson. I would take him here. He's probably not going to finish as the number 9 PPR running back like he did last year, but still has got some good upside and decent amount of safety because of the catches.
There we go. 2 votes for Patterson. Tim, what about you? What are you doing here?
Yeah, it's going to be Cordarrelle. Ronald Jones, I mean, they just signed Jarek again for another year. They're going to use him a little bit. It's not overly threatening, but I mean, they used him a ton in the postseason. So, I don't know what the Chiefs are doing at wide receiver or at running back. So I'm staying away from it.
Patterson, 3 votes for Patterson. JL, what about you?
I'll go with Ronald Jones just for pure upside here.
Yeah,
and hopefully, I'm assuming. Did you say their ADP, Simon?
I was about to say that, JL. To that point, Ronald Jones is definitely going later than Cordarrelle.
There's no doubt. They're seeded by ADP. So Cordarrelle Patterson is the first of these guys drafted. Ronald Jones is the last of these guys drafted. They're all between rounds 8 and 10 is where most of these guys live.
Okay, so there's not a huge gap.
It's a 2-round gap.
Two-round gap
between Patterson and Jones.
Oh, it's only 2 rounds.
Oh, that definitely changes it. It's like roller coaster, Simon. You say one thing, I'm like, oh, then definitely this. Oh, then this. I'll go with Ronald Jones anyway.
Okay.
Well, I don't hate it, and I'm glad you did it because if you didn't, I was probably going to throw a vote over there just for the sheer upside that he represents. He could be the lead running back in this backfield. There's a chance. That's a non-0% chance. But Tim, I was also very glad you brought up Jerick McKinnon because not only did they re-sign him, not only did he play a lot in the playoffs, but he looked like the old Jerick McKinnon that we were used to in the playoffs. Like he was moving. So I'm with you, Tim. I think he's involved in this offense, and that limits Ronald Jones for me. So I'll go with Patterson. I'm not expecting the same thing as last year, but I am going to vote for him in this matchup. We got our next matchup, and Josh. Oh yeah, before we do that, a couple things from the chat over here. We had Jay coming and saying Melvin Gordon better win this.
We'll see. We'll see.
Alex saying Gordon might not win round 1. Yeah, we'll see. Right there. Kaysen. What's up, Kaysen? Welcome in. Glad to have you here. Scott said, is Ronald Jones really a sleeper? Well, he's in the 10th round, so he probably is a sleeper by that metric. Or are you saying he's so bad that he can't be a sleeper? That could be it as well. Josh,
we got consider him a sleeper.
Before you go on the next one, Mr. Scamper said Rojo never sees the job in Tampa Bay. He actually did flash. He showed flashes in Tampa Bay. It wasn't crazy consistent. And the thing that makes me have a little bit of hope is that we don't know how much of it was coaching related versus talent related. And so that's why I think he has a chance, although I'm skeptical as well.
Yeah, both of your points, Mr. Scampers and JL's, like he did flash. He showed signs that he could be a good running back, but he never actually won that job. There's always someone that like was just kind of overtaking. I mean, he did have one good year where he got the most carries for the team. I think that was before Brady was there, though.
Might have been the year before.
Yeah, I think that was the last Jameis Winston year.
Yeah. Also, Alex saying CPAC could be the lead guy too. Yeah, and I think I didn't say that out loud, but that's the assumption that he probably is the lead guy, and that's probably why he won that bracket. There's a higher chance. Get
200 carries.
No,
the most carries for the Falcons, sure.
Right.
Yeah, he could definitely do that.
Okay, Josh, here's our next matchup. We've got James Cook versus Chase Edmonds as late round running backs. This is a kind of fun one. Very different guys.
I wish I thought about this one a little bit before. I was just put on the spot.
While you're thinking, we'll say hi to Andrew. Give you a second to say Andrew. Andrew, welcome in. Glad to have you here. Okay, that's it for the stalling, Josh. Now what are you gonna do?
Oh man. So I like James Cook's upside a little bit more. You know, if everything goes right for James Cook, he's the start. He's getting the most carries for the Bills. He's getting catches out of the backfield. The upside's there, you know. But Chase Edmonds, I think, has a little bit more safety. They signed him to a contract. He's a really good. Both these guys are really good pass catching backs, so they offer that upside to them. And you know, Chase Edmonds has shown he's a efficient runner in the NFL. You know, he showed that with the Arizona Cardinals with the good yards per carry throughout his career. I'm gonna go Chase Edmonds here because of the safety. I believe he has a better chance to get the more carries than James Cook. Catching is important, but when it comes down to it, I could see these guys getting pretty equal amount of catches. I'm going to lean Chase Edmonds. I would draft him ahead of James Cook for redraft this year.
Also, guys, just for some updates, I did pull the ADP, so I have it available for all of them now. Okay. Chase Edmonds is currently the 99th player off the board. PPR. Redraft PPR. Chase Edmonds is 99. James Cook is 100. They are back.
Wow. I'm on the clock right now. You make me choose between these two guys. I'll take Chase Edmonds right now.
Yep.
Chase Edmonds. One vote for Chase Edmonds. Tim, these back-to-back guys in ADP. Who are you going, James Cook or Chase Edmonds?
You do the same thing for me. I'll take James Cook. I'm a Dolphins fan. I hope Chase Edmonds does well. I really do. But picking the right back in Miami is just, I'm not good at it. I don't want to try it. James Cook, we know he's at least the RB2, right?
Yeah.
Behind Singletary. I think he could take over a little bit more. So give me Cook. I think it's a little bit more certain.
Definitely fair, Tim. JL, what about you? These guys are back to back. This is maybe the toughest one. What's it going to be, James Cook or Chase Edmonds?
I spent all of Monday sitting next to Simon and our good friend Dan Titus from the Action Network as Dan was drafting his FSGA Experts League. But, oops, I accidentally clicked that. And the whole time, I kept disparaging him for taking Chase Edmonds. I thought it was terrible. I was like, wow, why'd you want Chase Edmonds? He's a bum. I'm going to go Chase Edmonds here. I'm going to go Chase Edmonds. I like him over James Cook, and I think his upside is higher than James Cook this year.
The chat is split on this one. We've got Scott saying it's got to be Chase Edmonds, not even close. Craig down here, don't go chasing Miami RBs. Please stick to the non-platoon RBs that you're used to. My voice is gone. I'm not going to sing
Mostert out there. They're going to have the fastest offense out there in the NFL. It's going to be absolutely bananas. I'm so excited.
Dustin said Raheem Tostert.
Wait, is he saying that like Raheem Mostert's like done, or is he like? I'm not sure. Where
I think that was from the Jeopardy game yesterday. We were playing Raheem Tostert. Fitting out.
My vote here, this is a really close one. And I think like generally whenever I draft running backs this late, it is to shoot for more upside usually, unless it's like a real safe, like Chris Carson was a great one last year that was going late, or someone that I was looking at like, okay, he's got a starting job. But he was going a little bit later in drafts last season.
Maybe the year before that, Simon. I think
maybe it was the year before that I'm
Chris
confusing
Carson,
it.
I think was
what I'm saying is like safety can outperform upside, but I don't get that amount of safety from Chase Edmonds here. Whereas the upside for James Cook, well, I don't think he's going to steal that backfield. There's a chance that he does in that high-powered Bills offense. I'll take that shot down the stretch. So I'm going to vote for James Cook here, which means we're throwing it to Jorge to decide the winner of this matchup. Right. It is James Cook versus Chase Edmonds. Mr. Scampers passed on this one. You unfortunately don't have that luxury. You have to choose. So what's it going to be, Jorge?
So I just had on my show, I started our Beat Writer Insider series, and I had the Miami Dolphins beat writer, Alan Poupard from Sports Illustrated yesterday. And he broke down the backfield for the Dolphins and pointed out the fact that that this is a Shanahan offense that is going to be focuses on the run. And he pointed out that Chase Edmonds is going to be that primary back in the passing game. So he's going to get some work on the ground and a lot of work in the passing game. So it's got me barely leaning by one point just to Edmonds. If I would have, and plus the other fact that has got me thinking that is because the Dolphins are going to be primarily a running team. The Bills are still a passing team. So Cook, I think he's going to be very good this year. I don't know if he's going to get as much running because I think Devin Singletary is going to still be a thing. But early next week, I'm going to have a Bills insider. So be on the lookout for that one for me.
Nice. Maybe that'll change the votes here. I might change it now. Right now, Chase Edmonds is going to pull away with that W.
I got to say something real fast in regard to this. I forgot that I did projections. I just finished my projections. James Cook is projected to score in my projections 1 more point than Chase Edmonds. I have maybe I'll look into that a little bit.
Take it to the grave.
Take it to the grave.
But I do have James Cook projected for 1 more point right now. I'm gonna look into it a little bit more, see if I'm missing anything. It's crazy. They're back to back. It's nuts.
The chat 66% Chase Edmonds, 33% James Cook.
There we go. And Dustin agreeing with it. Speaking for the chat right now, follow the money in Miami, and it's Edmonds.
They might use Tyreek as a running back more than they use these running backs. Like, honestly, follow the money.
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
No. Kason in here has a question for us. So do you guys take Aaron Jones or Joe Ain't Slow Mixon? Jorge, let's start with you. Which of these running backs do you prefer next season, Aaron Jones or Joe Mixon?
Aaron Jones barely. I think he's gonna get a lot of work in the passing game.
Josh, what do you think here?
I also have Aaron Jones projected for a lot of work in the passing game, but Joe Mixon is going to be involved in the passing game as well. I have him projected just barely ahead of Aaron Jones myself.
Just barely. And I'm with you, Josh. I've got Joe Mixon actually in my top tier of running backs. He's the end of that tier. He's my 4th overall running back. And I just love the offense, love the work that he's going to get, love the improvements to the offensive line. I just think it's a Joe Mixon year. He's my number 4 running back, and he's in a tier with Jonathan Taylor, Austin Eckler, and CMC for me. So I'm high on Joe Mixon, but Aaron Jones is number 7 in my rankings. It's not like he's far behind. Tim, what do you think here? Aaron Jones or Joe Mixon?
I like Aaron Jones for next season. Joe Mixon for the next couple of years overall, but you could probably get both these guys, honestly, if you're looking to build like that. I mean, Aaron Jones is going later, so.
Yeah, they're not. Joe Mixon's creeping up, but Aaron Jones is definitely a little bit later. JL, do you prefer Aaron Jones or Joe Mixon?
Who's going higher? You have the ADPs?
I can tell you right now, I do have ADPs.
Yeah, for next year, it's that's how I was kind of answering.
For next year, it's
for
close.
Dynasty, it's Joe Mixon.
Yeah, Joe Mixon's going 10.
Make that clear.
So Joe Mixon is currently in redraft, going 10 overall, and Aaron Jones is going 24 overall.
Oh,
so
yeah.
the end of the second versus a first round guy.
Get both.
Ooh.
Easy.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a great build.
I would rather have Joe Mixon.
Yeah,
this is making me realize I want to draft from like the 9-10 spot. Grab Joe Mixon on the way there, Aaron Jones on the way back.
Yeah, sounds like you can get both. So
yeah, absolutely.
Guys, and then you just forget about it.
Then you're fine. Guys, we're going to move on to our next matchup. And we just talked one of those Buffalo running backs. We've got the other one staring at us right here. Bam, my man. Welcome. And glad to have you here. Tim, Devin Singletary or Rashaad Penny? Who's it going to be?
This one also sucks because Penny was fantastic last season. I wouldn't have expected it, but he was really good. And Singletary, both of them have guys that just got drafted to fill spots and maybe do that committee running back, but I'm going to lean Penny here. I haven't seen enough from Singletary to really believe it. So this is a toss up for me. Give me Penny.
One vote for Penny from Tim right there. I think it took me a second to respond because I was not expecting you to pick Rashaad Penny. Just knowing you. And JL, are you going to surprise me too? I know Penny broke your heart a little bit there, but this is Penny versus Singletary now. Where are we going?
How do you think I feel about Penny, Simon?
It's
a genuine question. It kind of came off.
I think he broke your heart. I think you held on to him for a long time. You drafted him early in one of our first dynasty rookie drafts. You were so excited to have him, and then it was just heartbreak after heartbreak.
But
and
today,
you were one of the
how do you think I feel about him?
Apathetic, indifferent.
Yep.
I think
that's generally
hide the pain. It's just indifference towards him.
Suspicious, maybe is a word. Is a word that you could use. I'm gonna go Devin Singletary here. I think Devin Singletary has showed us more than Rashaad Penny. Tim is absolutely right. Both of these guys have someone else there who's going to take some of their work. Devin Singletary to me is a guy who they showed they wanted to use last year. Rashaad Penny, it felt like, was maybe more of a, well, shit, we got nothing else. What are you going to do? Let's go with Rashaad Penny. We might as well get whatever we can out of him after drafting him in the first round. And then they go ahead and draft Kenneth Walker. So I'm not super confident in Rashaad Penny. I'm going to go to Devin Singletary.
JL, I'm right there with you. This one's super close, but when we look at what each of them has done and then what I think about the rookie that was drafted to replace them, I'm higher on Kenneth Walker than I am on James Cook. And I'm higher on Singletary than I am on Rashaad Penny based on what they've shown us. So it's got to be according to that. If you just look at the rhombus of value for these four players, it means Devin Singletary is going to be I'm going to draft here. But, man, this is another tough one. Jorge, it is 2-1 in Singletary's favor right now. Where are you voting here? Is it going to be Singletary or Penny?
I'm looking at Penny. I just remember that closing kick. I know the Kenneth Walker is great, but that closing kick, he was so good. I think he was the RB1 from weeks 14 to 18, and he won some people won people some money. I think what's tipping it for me is the fact that Singletary was pretty good in the passing game, but I think James Cook's going to take all of the passing work out of the backfield. So I think that's going to take that away. I think Penny is going to be kind of in an even split and just barely finish ahead of Singletary this season. But this one's a razor thin.
Yeah.
2-2. Another one that comes down to the last vote. But Josh, this time you are the daddy in charge. What's going on?
Let's go, Poppy.
Singletary or Penny?
Poppy Josh.
When it comes down to it, I look at these two offenses, and
like
the Bills' offense is a lot better, right? But I think the Seahawks, they just are going to need to run more. The big question is, can Penny stay healthy? If he can stay healthy, man, this guy could easily be a stud. I mean, like last year, he had 6.3 yards per carry on 119 rushing attempts. 2 years ago, he had 5.7 yards per carry on 65 rushing attempts. He's a high yards per carry guy. He's very talented. I think he's a little bit more talented than Devin Singletary. I'm going to go with Rashaad Penny here just because I don't think either of these guys really have a ton of pass catching upside when it comes down to it because of what Jorge mentioned precisely. But Rashaad Penny, I think they're going to give him the work. Even with Kenneth Walker, I think they're going to run Penny into the ground, get him out of there. Kenneth Walker's job next season.
There we go.
Kenneth Walker will be involved.
Yeah, he'll definitely be involved. But Rashaad Penny is going to take this one over Devin Singletary. Both of our Bills running backs making early exits in this bracket.
Get out of here.
And up next,
by the way,
we have
71% Devin Singletary, 28% Rashaad Penny. And on the first poll,
thanks, math.
Wow.
Cordarrelle Patterson got 80% of the vote. Ronald Jones got 20%.
Yeah.
So we've been in line with them so far, right? Each one's been in line with them. No, did we miss?
No. They went. No, we went Rashaad Penny this past one. They went Devin Singletary.
I forgot how to critically listen and understand things. That's my bad right there. Yeah. Oops. We've got our next matchup, and JL, you are up first. Melvin Gordon or Tony Pollard, and I can tell you their ADPs if you would like.
I would love that.
You want that?
Looks like Melvin Gordon a bit higher, huh?
Melvin Gordon is going 106 right now, and Tony Pollard is going 91 overall. So they are separated by, what is that, 15 picks, about a little over a round.
That's
between
insane.
Tony Pollard.
That's so
nuts,
silly.
Isn't it?
Yikes.
Give me Melvin Gordon. I'll take
Melvin Gordon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know JL voted for Tony Pollard just then, but I'm going to vote for Melvin Gordon here. I know it was a joke because I didn't listen before. JL voted for Melvin Gordon, but Melvin Gordon was good last year. They split carries exactly evenly down the middle. He's a good running back. He says, "I'm here to compete. I'm not rolling over dead." Sorry, fantasy managers. And it's in the Broncos' best interest to keep this a split backfield, right? It works. It keeps their running backs healthy. So maybe the workload goes from 50-50 to 65 or 60-40 or something like that, but it's still Melvin Gordon for me. That's not to say
should be healthier.
Yeah.
Should be keyword.
This isn't a anti-Tony Pollard vote either. I like Tony Pollard. He has standalone value outside of whenever Zeke goes down. But man, Melvin Gordon going this late is criminal. It feels like just insane to me. Jorge, what's it going to be? Melvin Gordon or Tony Pollard? Favorite late round running back?
Well, if I'm going pure numbers, it is tough. I'm taking Pollard just because this is a guy who went over 1,000 yards combined last year. And that was with Ezekiel Elliott getting a full workload in 17 games. So I look at Pollard. I really like Pollard to still have his standalone. You guys mentioned he's got standalone value. He's that guy that I want like in contention to be my flex player. So maybe with a really good wide receiver, kind of like bring him in sometimes. But
yeah,
I'm gonna take. Yeah, I hope he does well because I have him on a dynasty rebuild that I hope to be able to flip for a 2023 first round pick. So fingers crossed. So
there we go. One vote for Tony Pollard. We play fantasy with our hearts. People forget that as well. And these guys are close enough. All of these guys are close enough. I can see the argument on either side here. Josh, I think very clearly sees the argument on both sides as it looks like he is struggling to make his
I
pick
thought
there.
the Chase Edmonds, James Cook one was tough. This one is tougher for me. I have Tony Pollard projected for more points, actually, when it comes down to it. Melvin Gordon, that ADP, though, is awesome. Keep in mind, like, Russell Wilson, he's not the biggest thrower to the running back position. He likes to chuck it deep, you know what I'm saying? So when I looked at the Dallas Cowboys, they're missing Amari Cooper. They're going to want weapons on the field. Tony Pollard's going to get more catches than Melvin Gordon. So it's going to come down to the touchdowns. If Melvin Gordon's getting 8 touchdowns, like he really has done his entire career, every single year of his career, he has at least 8 touchdowns. At least 8 touchdowns.
That's
if
insane.
that continues, Melvin Gordon's the better pick here. I'm going to bet against it. I'm going to bet that Javonte Williams. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's smart, but I'm going to bet that Javonte Williams takes a little bit more of that workload, takes more of those touchdowns away. I'm going to go with Tony Pollard here.
There we go. And Mr. Scampers brought this up. I was going to pull.
Oh, no. I was
we always say that about
Scampers.
Zeke, that if Zeke goes down, Pollard would be a top 5 back. But this is 100% right. If Javonte misses time, Gordon could also easily be a top 5 back. That's a great
absolutely right, Mr. Scampers.
And then Dustin, building on that point, Elliott has only missed 1 game in the past 3 years. Sure, Pollard would be great if he went down, but he doesn't go down.
he just won't go down.
This speaks to both of these guys have other backs. They provide standalone value even without the other guy going down, with that upside if they do. Tim, 3 in a row decided by the last vote, and you're in charge this time.
I almost hope Melvin Gordon wins.
It's Melvin. I was going to say Melvin from the start. I said it from the start. It's Melvin. Draft Melvin.
Cool. I'm glad that he won.
Melvin barely escapes the first round, and we are moving into our second round of the bracket. I've got the first vote here.
I absolutely believe Melvin. 77%, 22% for Tony Pollard.
What happened to the other 1%?
Think of the receivers you can get around.
I don't know.
Holy cow.
I don't know how
the other 1%. The other 1% just
it was 9 votes, so maybe that's why.
Something sneaky in there. We've got Patterson versus Edmonds here, and I've got the first vote. And oh god, this is I'm unhappy with this. Patterson has less competition for those touches that he had last year, and we saw it. Chase Edmonds between Sony Michel, where he most like I don't know what's going to happen in that offense. I'm fairly confident I'll get some return on this draft pick from Cordarrelle Patterson. So while I'm not super hyped on Patterson this year, that's where my vote's going to go. Jorge, what about you? We've got Patterson versus Edmonds. What is your vote?
Wow. I mean, I have very much in my mind Patterson's fading at the end, but I wonder if they learned the lesson and are going to use him a little more. This one's razor thin again, but I think I'm barely going C-Pat on this one. Ian Harditz will be happy.
There we go. Shout out Ian. Josh, Patterson or Edmonds? This bracket's going to kill Josh.
Like, these are getting tougher and tougher. I have Cordarrelle Patterson projected for more points than Chase Edmonds. But what's the separation draft capital? Do you have that right there?
Yeah, I can tell you right now. Let's see. Patterson is 86 overall. So just outside of that 7 rounds, he's the first one. And then who was the other one that we're talking about? Edmonds. Edmonds is 99. So they're separated by about 10 picks, less than a round.
I'm going to go with Cordarrelle Patterson. More comfortable with him on my team.
More comfort. That's 3 votes for Patterson. So Patterson's going to win, but we still got 2 more votes to cast. Tim, is it Patterson or Edmonds?
My brain says Cordarrelle, but my heart says Miami, baby. Woo!
Yummy! Welcome to Miami.
1 vote for Miami from Tim, and that's going to, by default, go to Edmonds. JL, what about you? Patterson or Edmonds?
I'm going to go Patterson.
Another vote for Patterson. And Patterson moves on to our finals. And Dustin saying
Patterson got 100% of the vote.
Every single one of them.
What?
Every single vote went to Patterson.
It's pretty crazy.
Okay. And Jorge, we're back to you to kick this one off for us. Rashaad Penny versus Melvin Gordon in our other semifinals matchup. Who's going to win this one for you?
Well, coast to coast, Jay Felicio is twisting my arm, so I got to go Melvin Gordon on this one.
Don't let him bully you. Don't let him pressure you.
I really think Melvin's. I'm going to take him over the bigger injury risk that Rashaad Penny is.
And Scott said just jumped on and checking out the bracket. Is this bracket most likely to bust or least likely to bust? Can't really tell.
Sleeper or late round.
Late round running back.
Whichever one you think is better.
So, all right, Scott, I'm sorry we're doing this to you.
Josh, your vote here. Rashaad Penny or Melvin Gordon?
I'm sorry, Simon, to you. What's the ADP? If you're there, I don't know.
The ADP of these 2 guys, Rashaad Penny's 105, Melvin Gordon is 106. Yeah, you're exactly right.
Damn, Tim.
Wow.
Did you know that?
Did you know that?
I thought you were making a joke.
No, I'm trying to remember the
trying to remember
that you said. I remember Gordon is 106. So
yeah, these guys are back to back. Literally back-to-back picks.
I'm crafty as heck up here, boys.
Crafty as heck.
I have Rashaad Penny projected for more points, but they're very close. They're 2 running backs apart, and they're close in points when it comes down to it. Just because of, I'm projecting Penny as playing for 17 games, and as we all know, that's most likely not going to happen. I'll probably end up drafting Gordon ahead of Penny.
So another vote for Gordon. We've got right there. Tim, it's 2-0 for Melvin Gordon right now on these back-to-back guys. Rashaad Penny going 1 spot earlier. What's it going to be for you?
It's Gordon. Again, redrafts. I can't believe he's this far down. It's crazy to me.
3-0, JL?
I'm going to go with man, I didn't know you were going to be asking questions today. I'm going to go with Melvin Gordon.
Melvin Gordon. And Mr. Scamper saying Tim with the dunk. Yeah, absolutely put this one to sleep with his vote. And I don't need to say too much. Melvin Gordon, it's going to be a sweep, and we are going to move on to our championship.
This is fun.
This is a fun one. Josh, you've got the first vote here.
Patterson I got the first vote. That's great. I've said it many times. 106 though. Patterson's like 88. I think you said
86. Yeah, 86 versus 106 here.
That's some separation. Just because of that separation, that's like a couple of rounds different. I'm gonna have to go Melvin Gordon, even though I would rather have. If they were neck and neck, I would take Cordarrelle Patterson. But just because of that separation, I'm gonna leave Melvin Gordon.
Yeah, and when we're talking late round running backs, that draft capital probably does matter a little bit, right? An 8th round pick is quite different from a 10th round pick.
Yeah.
Tim, Patterson or Gordon? What's it going to be here?
I think you can get both. So do Melvin Gordon, and then I think you can get both. So it's a great problem to have in those rounds.
So you going Melvin Gordon?
Yeah, we'll go Gordon.
2 votes for Gordon. JL, what about you?
This is really tough. I'm gonna go.
He was definitely about to say Patterson.
I don't even want to factor in the ADP because that makes it like way too difficult to even make a decision.
Then don't.
So I'm just going to factor in who I think is better. I'm going to go Cordarrelle Patterson.
Cordarrelle Patterson. We had some people talking in the chat. Pete said, give me Gordon straight up. I like thick backs. And then Justin said Gordon based on ADP. And you know what I'm going to do here? This one's close for me. And if I take ADP into account, I probably would vote Melvin. But it's so close, and I want Jorge to decide the winner of this bracket.
Let's go.
So I'm putting my vote on CPAT. And Jorge, you are determining the winner of this bracket. Is it CPAT or is it Melvin Gordon?
Oh, I'm looking at that. I got this thing gnawing at me. Tyler Algier. He's gonna get some, he's gonna eat in the ground game, and CPAT is only gonna be seeing work in the passing game. So
I think CPAT's hearing that in his head too.
Yep. So that's why I'm going Melvin. Melgo is Andrew.
There it is. Melvin Gordon with the win.
Yes. The 7 seed, a big underdog according to ADP, pulling out the W in this bracket. Melvin Gordon is our favorite late round running back. And guys,
the chat 87% for Melvin Gordon, 12% for Cordarrelle Patterson. The chat agrees. On the poll before that, though, Melvin Gordon got 100% of the vote again. Well, not him again, but we got another one.
Cordarrelle Patterson and Melvin Gordon both were unanimous championship candidaps
in their in their semifinal round. You're right.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Jay is so happy. He said yes, and then he said hip hip Jorge.
Jorge.
He's actually pretty good. That's pretty good.
That's a good one, Jay. That's a good hit right there.
You made it funny, buddy.
Guys, our next bracket up is going to be our TV Dads bracket. And I know before we start complaining about the names that aren't on there, we just had to narrow it down to 8. There's so many good TV Dads, but I'm going to run through who we're going to be talking about today. We've got Danny Tanner from Full House, Hal Wilkerson from Malcolm in the Middle, Red Foreman from That 70s Show, Uncle Phil, he does count Alex from The Fresh Prince, Stephen Keaton from Family Ties, George Lopez, of course, from The George Lopez Show, Johnny Rose from Schitt's Creek, and then Julius Rock, Mr. Terry Crews from Everybody Hates Chris. We've got the dad from Everybody Hates Chris down there. So we're going to start from the top. And Tim, we're going to pick up where we left off last time. So you're going to have the first vote in this one. It is Danny Turner from Full House versus Hal Wilkerson from Malcolm in the Middle. Where's your vote going to go? 1 seed versus 8 seed.
Can we start with Jorge again? Because if it gets to a tie in the finals, I like having the guest decide.
You know what? You're right. That's a great point, Tim. Jorge, you're going to go first. Danny Turner or Hal Wilkerson? Who's it going to be?
Oh, R.I.P. Bob Saget. I'm going Danny Tanner. It's just good dad, and he, and he knew when to ask for help. So he got some guys he got a couple of people to come help him out. So plus he was so good. He was such a good dad that they made a spinoff.
Absolutely. I feel like
it's all because of the dad.
When you think TV Dads, that's like the first one that pops into your mind. There's a reason he's sitting up there at the 1 seed. Josh, Danny Tanner or Hal Wilkerson? Who's it going to be?
I got a lot of respect for both these guys, but you know what's going to really do it for me is I'm just a huge Bryan Cranston fan, and I really like him. I'm going to actually go with Hal here.
Ooh.
1 vote for Hal.
Mr. White.
Jorge, we might make you mad. We might make you mad on this bracket. I'm not sure. I have a feeling the chat's going to be unhappy with us on this one.
No. What did I do?
Tim, are you going Danny Tanner or Hal Wilkerson?
So back in the day when I watched Full House, I wasn't focused on Danny Tanner. I was focused on the Olsen twins because we were about the same age. It's like, oh, what are those?
Dirty dog.
So my vote goes for Hal.
Games since he was 3.
Yeah, I mean, I learned
TV.
He practiced pickup lines on Mary-Kate and Ashley when he was 3 years old, sitting in front of the TV.
Mary-Kate Adventures? Are you kidding me? Rent those buddies from Blockbuster.
I was going to say, Tim, the number of Mary-Kate and Ashley movies I rented from Blockbuster as a kid is a little bit too high. JL, where are you going here? Danny Tanner or Hal Wilkerson? It is 2-1 right now.
This is tough. I almost want to look ahead here and pick whichever is going to be the easier matchup for Uncle Phil. So that's what I'm going to do. Hal Wilkerson it is.
Ooh, I think you might have just made a crucial mistake in that one, JL. Because I think you got some big Hal Wilkerson fans on this show. My number 1 favorite TV dad is Hal Wilkerson. He's defeated, but still fun. He gets obsessive over things. Have you seen the episode where he rents a steamroller? He rents a steamroller and he starts skipping work to just run shit over in a parking lot. And like his kid has to come rescue him. Like, Dad, stop running things over. Like, is he the world's best dad? No, but is he like my favorite TV dad ever? Yeah, and I'm gonna vote for Hal Wilkerson here.
I'm changing mine to Danny Tanner.
Okay, JL Tangent is the Danny Tanner. It is 3-2, but Hal Wilkerson is still moving on to the next round.
8-1.
73% of the chat said Danny Tanner.
Yeah, I figured that was going to be an unpopular one. Josh, you've got the first vote here. It is Red Foreman from That 70s Show versus Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince. And this is brutal.
This sucks. This is a bad matchup. These might be my I love Red. I love Red Foreman. He's one of my favorite dads. I mean, he's kind of a jerk, but like he's just one of my favorite. I mean, I guess this bracket is best TV dads.
I think it's favorite. I think we have it named.
It's favorite. I'm gonna look. I think I have a feeling where this is gonna go. I'm going to vote for Red Foreman here.
One vote for Red Foreman from Josh.
I don't want to give too much. Man, I really hope that doesn't. It's not going to happen. But I love him. I'll let Uncle Phil come.
Well, that's very nice of you, Josh. Tim, are you going with Red Foreman or Uncle Phil?
I think it's going to be a nail biter.
Oh no! Oh no!
I love That 70s Show. I love the Fresh Prince as well. There are a bunch of moments that I think of from both shows where they both absolutely flex. But gosh, Red Foreman, this should be a first round matchup. But I'm going to go Red.
Oh no!
We're going to see how it goes.
What did I do?
The chat's already mad at us. Jay said, you guys suck. Everyone but Jorge. Maria said, wow, y'all really have the worst taste. Mr. Scampers is leaving. Jay said, Josh, you are dead to me. Drop the mic, said agree with you, Jay.
I thought I was going to be the only one voting for Red.
Dustin said brackets was moving up my list of favorite FYF games, but back to the bottom after this travesty. JL, it is 2-0 so far. What are you doing here? I know, but tell everyone.
Uncle Phil.
The right answer, JL.
Uncle Phil is my daddy. I didn't have a dad. That's not true. I had a dad. He was wonderful, but he wasn't Uncle Phil. He wasn't Uncle Phil. Okay, Uncle Phil.
Yeah, your dad's watching this, and he's like, "Oh my god!" Oh no.
As soon as he figures out how to work the YouTube, he's gonna know.
And JL, I'm right there with you. This is favorite TV dad.
Okay.
But if this was best TV dad, Uncle Phil would be the number one seed. I feel like he would have to be. And then on top of that, he's so fun to watch.
I had every season on DVD when I was a kid. I used to just haul them to my sister's basketball games and watch them every single time.
Well, it is 2-2 now. Uncle Phil versus Red Foreman. Jay said, if Red Foreman beats Uncle Phil, I will legit leave, not the show, the company. So Jorge, is Jay leaving the company or is he staying? Red Foreman or Uncle Phil?
Jay stays. It's got to be
stays. Jorge, my man.
I was sweating that one, man. I was sweating that.
I was
exactly
wow.
100% of the vote from the chat. Uncle
I
Phil.
did not want to be responsible for Uncle Phil losing.
Yeah,
been on YouTube.
And Jay leaving.
Guys, we have our next.
Fine, but Uncle Phil losing. Oh.
We have our next matchup: Stephen Keaton versus George Lopez. And before we vote on this one, there was something I wanted to share everyone that might influence your vote on this one. One second while I pull that up. Just a little secret, just a little a secret we have that we could pull up there. One moment, and I will pull this up.
Oh, we're waiting.
We have someone on the chat that has experienced George Lopez in a fatherly role. Jorge, you want to tell us a little bit about your connection with George Lopez before we vote on this one?
In 1983, I played Little League. And I got coached by these two guys who were like 20, 21 years old. I knew them as Coach Ernie, Coach George. Coach George is there on my left right there when he was just going to open mics. and it was and here's the funny thing I didn't tell you guys. We didn't win a game the whole season.
So they're really good coaches.
Yeah, but they were hilarious. It was a blast. They were kind of like they were more like big brothers or fun uncles, definitely fun uncles. But the funniest thing, this is 2013, and I went up to George. He was about to throw a first pitch at Dodger Stadium. I was working for the team at the time. And I said, George, you're not going to believe this, but back in 1983, you coached me on the Santa Rosa Giants. And he looks at me, he's like, oh my God, I see that kid.
Remember it? Oh
my God, he totally remembered. Then he turns around and he turns off to the side and this is down on the field, as you can see. And I said, he goes, Ernie, come here. We coached this guy. And it was
Ernie was there.
His childhood friend Ernie, who became the namesake for the character Ernie, who played George's best friend on the George Lopez show.
Cool.
So it was. So Ernie actually told me the backstory of being on the set the day of the first day of shooting. He goes, "Hey, you know who that guy's named after?" And he goes, "Man, he's kind of chubby." And it's like, "What are you trying to tell me?" And at the time, they were both like skinny as a rail, but they were hilarious. They were hilarious. I kept in touch. I've seen George at a few games, and whenever I see him at a game, he's gonna be like, he goes, "I coached this guy." So and actually, I'm going to a Dodger game tonight. I might see him tonight. You never know.
Oh heck yeah!
There you
If
go.
it happens, I'll put a picture on Twitter. So that'll make Dame Overboard very happy. I know she's a Dodger.
There we go.
So you know where I'm voting.
We know, and we got some firsthand a
Steven
dad life
Keaton.
experience in here. I feel like a Little League coach is kind of like, you got some of that fatherly advice from him.
Yeah.
But Tim, you've got the first vote here. Stephen Keaton from Family Ties. And for everyone watching, I know maybe Family Ties is an older show. This is, if you haven't watched it, it's a ex-hippie couple raising kids in like Reagan's America, and the kids are a little bit more conservative, but it's about like acceptance and loving each other regardless of difference of opinions. But Tim, is it going to be Stephen Keaton or George Lopez here?
So Jorge, that's a really cool story, but
I love Family Ties too.
Okay, that makes me feel better. The intro song to the George Lopez show is Lowrider.
Oh my God,
that is the song that my brother latched onto as a kid, and he played that nonstop. And Simon Jail, you know me, I can listen to any song on repeat forever.
Yes,
that song is like my kryptonite. It kills me to my core. I can't listen to that. So whenever George Lopez come on, I literally run away. Like I can't. I'm sorry that this is the personal story that you had, because I would vote him the other way, but I can't.
Lowrider just did you too dirty.
I swear I just told Maria how that's a terrible song. I was like just on that last week.
I like that song. Jail, are you going Stephen Keaton or are you going George Lopez?
I don't even know who Stephen Keaton is, so George Lopez it is.
And I do know who Stephen Keaton is, and I think it's an underrated sitcom nowadays. You should go back and watch some episodes, but I'm going to go with George Lopez as well. When you watch these two shows, if I had to pick one of them to be my dad in real life, it would be George Lopez without even questioning it for a second. Jorge, are you going with Stephen Keaton or are you going with George Lopez?
Oh, definitely G-Lo, but I will say I watched Family Ties religiously as a youngster, and and actually that show made Michael J. Fox, put him on Back to the Future.
Okay.
Yeah. The anti-Elvis, Michael J. Fox. Josh, are you going with Stephen Keaton or are you going with George Lopez?
Even without your heartwarming story,
Scott.
George Lopez. It's George Lopez. Let's go, George.
George moves on, and Scott is singing Lowrider in Canton on karaoke. And
I'm not afraid to leave.
Oh my God! You know what? I cannot wait for that, Scott. No takebacks. We're queuing it up for you.
Scott, we're doing it. We're doing it, Scott.
Jorge and Scott duo Lowrider. I never knew I needed something so much. And then Mr. Scampers, you know what? We robbed Splinter on here.
Really good.
We should do an animated TV dads bracket at some point, because there's some good ones in there as well.
Peter Griffin.
Wow.
Guys, we're going to move.
Dad.
Wait, did we do something like this?
JL, you've got the first vote on this one. And this is two of maybe more modern shows than some of the other ones. We've got Johnny Rose from Schitt's Creek versus Julius Rock from Everybody Hates Chris. Which of these is your preferred TV father?
I watched Everybody Hates Chris when it was coming out. Probably the first, 3 seasons or so. I don't even remember how long it ran. First couple seasons. I don't remember that much about Terry Crews's character. I remember liking him, but not much that really sets him apart. So I'm going to go Johnny Rose here.
One vote for Johnny Rose. And this one's tough for me because I think Julius Rock is the better father in that series. Like, he plays a better father, but I think Johnny Rose is maybe the more entertaining character, and the character growth he has as a father by the end of the show.
Yeah, he's becoming a father throughout
exactly.
the show.
We watch him become a good father by the end of the show, and like because of that, I'm a sucker for a great character development arc. It's Johnny Rose for me, but this one's really close. Jorge, are you going to go with Johnny Rose or are you going to go with Julius Rock?
You stole exactly why I'm voting for Johnny Rose. Just the great character grows from the beginning to the end. Totally rags, riches to rags, back to,
riches and something else, right?
In different ways. Yeah.
So give me Johnny Rose.
Johnny Rose is going to win this one, but we've got 2 more votes. Josh, is it Johnny Rose or Julius Rock?
So I've only seen minimal amounts. I've seen both these shows quite a few times, but I haven't actually really sat down and watched either one of them, followed it. So really what I'm going down to is the actors, and I love both the actors. I love Terry Crews. I love Eugene Levy. I'm going to give Julius Rock just a nod because it's already wrapped up.
I respect
Johnny
that,
Rose
Josh.
is going to win. So
I'm glad. It would have been disrespectful for us to sweep Terry Crews here in the first round. That would have not been nice. Tim, are you going Johnny Rose or Julius Rock?
Yeah, if you didn't do it, I was going to, but it's Johnny Rose.
4-1. Johnny Rose moves on, and Scott said George Lopez better beat both of these. Yeah, I think only one favorite made it through. Uncle Phil beat Red Foreman by the skin of his teeth to make it through.
And he had to come back.
Julius Rock was a favorite.
Julius Rock was the number 2 seed on that one.
Seed. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I thought that.
So by the way, the chat shows 72% Johnny Rose, 27% Julius Rock. And 50-50 on the George Lopez, Stephen Keaton one.
Okay. So that was close.
Family Ties fans.
This should be the finals. This should be the championship. This should be. I am so.
Not in Jorge's mind.
Oh my God. I'm so upset. I have no idea how's my favorite TV dad. I feel a connection. Like if I married someone mean and had children that I didn't raise well and they were angry and I just started getting upset in the middle of my life, I feel like I would behave a lot like Hal Wilkerson, like with his hobbies and his obsessions and the way he goes. Like it's a relatable character.
Remember that scene where Will was like, "How come you don't love me, man?"
God, but Uncle Phil is such just like the emotion, the love from Uncle Phil.
And he's so mean at first. His
go with Hal,
character
Simon.
development.
You know you want to go Hal.
Hal Wilkerson, but I feel Uncle Phil, I love you so much. I love you.
Don't.
Jorge,
no, you don't.
Is it going to be Hal or is it going to be Uncle Phil?
You brought up that scene, which is, why doesn't he love me? It's just like I've seen it a dozen times, and it hits every time.
Every time.
Uncle Phil. Theo Phil.
1-1.
Well, how about another scene that for me is just as iconic? I mean, not as sad, but that pool scene. He comes up. Will's getting hustled in pool, and then he's like, "How do you play pool?" Uncle Phil's like, "I'm trying to get out," but he hustles the guy.
And then he's
badass. Uncle Phil all the way here, man.
Feels
Uncle
like,
Phil.
I forgot about that scene, Josh. That's a great.
That's like one of my favorite scenes in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air for sure.
Yeah,
Tim,
that is a good one.
Tim, it is one. Wait. Josh, you just voted for Uncle Phil. So it is 2-1 Uncle Phil's way now. Tim, where are you going?
In that scene, Josh, I don't know if you ever watched The Office, but
I just read to how, but it doesn't matter.
The actor who plays Hank in The Office, he's like the security guard guy downstairs, is in that scene like a bunch of times.
Oh, really?
In the Fresh Prince,
Is he like one of the pool sharks?
He's no. He's just like meandering around the bar, and I think he's like sleeping on the pool table or something.
There we go. Guys, it is 2-2. Tim voted for Hal and then dipped. Had to run for a second. So it is 2-2 in JL. Tell us who the winner is. Who's winning this one?
It's Uncle Phil.
It's Uncle Phil. Uncle Phil moving on to the next round. And up next, another fun matchup. We've got George Lopez versus Johnny Rose. And Jorge, you've got the first vote on this one. Is it going to be George Lopez or is it going to be Johnny Rose winning this matchup?
George Lopez, but you guys got to put up the comment that Scott had about Dexter and Johnny Rose.
Yeah, that was badass.
Oh, yeah.
That was incredible.
In season 4 of Dexter in 2009, an episode has them chasing a killer named Johnny Rose.
What?
And Deb saying she was up Schitt's Creek.
Is that why they named him Johnny Rose?
Maybe. That's a fun fact.
How amazing is that?
That's wild.
That is
just a crazy coincidence.
Is that just a nod from the producer? Like, do the Levies love Dexter? And that was just like a nod to Dexter.
Oh, yeah.
No,
that's what I'm saying. Like Eugene and Dan Levy, do they love Dexter? And they just did like a little nod to them with that. Maybe
I like Dexter. They such a bad
man, but that is quite the reference.
That's a deep cut.
That's
deep incredible. Cut. Yeah. That is incredible deep cut. Yeah, I'm going George Lopez, my old coach. Give it
one vote for Jorge's old coach, George Lopez. Josh, where are you going here? George Lopez or Johnny Rose?
I've just seen more George Lopez as a dad when it comes down to it. I'm gonna go George Lopez as well here. Love Eugene Levy, but George Lopez.
It's close. Tim, are you going George Lopez or Johnny Rose?
It's going to be Johnny Rose, not just because of Lowrider, but there are just a couple scenes in Schitt's Creek, which I've watched probably like 9 times, start to finish.
Brilliant.
Where I see my own dad in Johnny Rose, like when he's like when he's getting super into Christmas, it's like, I just want a family Christmas party.
And I just watched that episode. I've only seen like 3 or 4 episodes. I just watched that one like a week ago.
You're like, I don't get it. And then they show it and you're like, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah, so caught up on it.
JL, where are you going here? It's 2-1 right now in George Lopez's favor.
I'm sure that recency bias is affecting me here, but I'm going to go to Johnny Rose.
Oh, God, no.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Simon.
He won. Oh, God, this one's close.
Who
have I seen more of? I've seen more of Johnny Rose. Who would I want as my father more?
Johnny Rose.
It's George Lopez. George Lopez would be. I would get so frustrated with Johnny Rose as my father. Every time he tried to like give me a talking to, like it's just like it's bad. Not meant to be condescending, but like it's like a little like he forgot that his kids are adults. For a large portion of the season,
was catchy.
So I'm gonna go George Lopez. Guys,
look
at this championship matchup. This is a real one. We've got Uncle Phil versus George Lopez in the finals. Josh, you have the first vote.
Jorge's nightmare.
Oh my God!
I know Jorge is the final vote. I feel like it's gonna be a little. We'll see. It's
I really hope we're split.
The pool shark, Uncle Phil. I'm just looking at the people voting. It's Uncle Phil, guys.
It's Uncle Phil for Josh. Tim, what about you, Uncle Phil or George Lopez?
I hate Lowrider, but I love split votes. George Lopez.
Oh!
We always have. We can count on a little bit of chaos with Tim in the bracket. JL, is it Uncle Phil or George Lopez?
Thank God you did that, Tim, because I was like, I'm gonna have to do it, and I don't want to. There's no way that I could do it to make that.
Uncle Phil supporter here.
I know. There's no way I could go against Uncle Phil. I'm going Uncle Phil. Thank God.
And you know what I like to do? I like to make our guest decide the winner. If I have the opportunity here, and these guys. Man, these guys are great. Both of them are phenomenal. They'd be great dads to have in real life. I'm going to vote for George Lopez just to send it up to Jorge to determine the champion.
I was like, you little booger.
Jorge, is it going to be Uncle Phil or George Lopez as the champion of our best TV dads bracket?
So Uncle Phil takes in his nephew who needed help and just does it right. Does the right thing, gives him that fatherly presence. George Lopez comes from a broken home, and he raises. He gets married, traditional marriage. Still has a beleaguered, tough relationship with his mother, but keeps her in the picture. But raises his kids the right way.
God, it's close. It's tough.
Both great dads.
Both great dads. Both came out of tough circumstances. So,
just go with your heart. Jorge.
It's Coach George.
Coach George Lopez is the champion of the best TV dads bracket. George Lopez taking it down as the 6th seed and coming out on top. Man,
wow.
That was Jason George Lopez.
88% of the chat chose Uncle Phil. 88%.
You know what? Wow. But I don't think anyone in the chat's going to be mad.
Yeah, but they've never met Uncle Phil. We have this person that met George.
George Lopez is our champion, and Melvin Gordon is our favorite late round running back. Guys, one more thing I got to say. We did the TV dads bracket. Happy Father's Day this weekend to all of the dads out there watching. My dad, if you're watching, happy Father's Day to you, Jorge. And happy Father's Day to my dad, all the other dads out there. So make sure you guys celebrate this weekend. Guys, Melvin Gordon is our favorite late round running back. George Lopez, Coach George himself, our favorite TV dad. And Mr. Scamper said, Coach George with the stunner. Guys, that's going to be it for us today. Before we go, a couple things. Number one, make sure you're following our man Jorge on Twitter right now. He's on Twitter at Jorge Martin 17. It's the easiest decision you can make today to go follow him. After you do that, I'm going to mix up the order a little bit. We've got a whole bunch of sexy TikToks over on our TikTok channel that Josh has been making. Front Yard FYF. There might be a highly requested wide receiver coming out today. I won't spoil it, but Josh has been working on another wide receiver video for you guys. So make sure you guys go check that out on our TikTok. And then subscribe to this YouTube channel if you like what we're doing over here at Front Yard Fantasy on YouTube. Make sure you hit that sub button. Guys, and if you're not sick of us, we're going to be live again in about 2 hours over on the FanDuel YouTube and Twitch channels. We're going to be playing some Pole Perception with Samantha Holt. So make sure you guys come on over, hang out with us then. Until 6 p.m. Eastern time, though, we are out of here. Another huge thanks to Jorge. Another huge thanks to everybody in the chat. And shout out Coach George. Adios, everybody.
Trading me fantasy.
Rest in peace, Uncle Phil.
Oh, we were going to miss it today, Josh.
Never. I don't miss it. Never.